What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be looking back at my WrestleMania 41 card predictions from last year, and basically, we're just going to see how close I was on these predictions and see if I got any right. So, without further ado, let's get started. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Ring. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing with you guys my predictions for the WrestleMania 41 card. First match I have on this list is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, this match could... Okay. Well, we obviously got this one wrong. It is going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. So I got one thing right. Cody Rhodes was defending his WWE Championship. And obviously, as of right now, Randy Orton has a mystery opponent at WrestleMania. It looks like it's probably going to end up being Solo Sikoa. So yeah, we're 0 for 1 so far. Let's get back to it. Could be generational. The feud could be generational. You know, their story, ties back together past a decade ago, with being in the same group, the legacy, them and Ted DiBiase. They could really build off of this storyline, and I think that this is really only a WrestleMania type match. I don't think you can put this match on any other pay-per-view. And this is just a great way to build Cody Rhodes' title reign, which I think is going to be about a 2 to 2.5 year title reign. Okay. Let's hope it's not 2 to 2.5 years. That was a bold prediction. I hope he loses at WrestleMania to John Cena. And if he doesn't, I hope he loses at SummerSlam, whether that's to Randy Orton, which could happen, or Drew McIntyre. I think those are the only 3 guys that really have any chance of beating him. So yeah, that's my prediction for that. 2.5 years is just way too long. After defeating a guy like Roman Reigns, who held the title for 1,300 days, I think he's at least going to hold the title for a year and a half to 2 years. Second match I have on this list is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Now, we were supposed to get this match. Okay. Kind of close with this one. Obviously, I think everyone was expecting this because this was supposed to happen at last year's WrestleMania before CM Punk got hurt. And, we obviously are getting a version of this at Mania. Obviously, just Roman Reigns is in the match. It's a triple threat match. We obviously have already seen them fight each other twice. That was the Raw debut of Netflix. We saw CM Punk beat Seth Rollins clean. And then the steel cage match in MSG that obviously Seth Rollins won because Roman Reigns interfered and helped him win accidentally. WrestleMania 40 for the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously got screwed out of. Okay. For the World Heavyweight Championship, that's not happening either. I don't know who I thought was going to bring the title to WrestleMania. I think I thought Punk was going to be the champion. But that obviously didn't happen. The World Heavyweight Champion's got there, but back to it. Of it with CM Punk getting injured at the Royal Rumble and then, gets replaced by Drew McIntyre. I think this match doesn't need the World Heavyweight Championship. If it has it, that's cool. But if it doesn't, no one's going to complain. This is going to be a great feud. They've already teased, them a couple of times in promos, and, it gets the fans off their feet. I think this is going to be a great generational feud, and I honestly don't know who would win this one. Third on this list I have is The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Another match. Well, there's another one we're wrong on. No Rock Roman, once again, an anticipated match that was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 40, but then obviously the fans wanted Cody in the match, me included, so we got Cody versus Roman, which was an amazing match. Is the window closed for Rock versus Roman? I'm thinking it might be, because I feel like this year would be the last year they would have done it. I really thought they were going to do it when they had them interact on the first Raw of Netflix, but then we just had them show respect, so I don't know. I think the window's closing on this match. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though, if that match can happen or not. We were supposed to get at WrestleMania 40, and Cody Rhodes ultimately taking the Rock's spot. Well, the Rock kind of wanted to take Cody's spot. It was Cody's spot to begin with. Let me be clear, but a match that we were supposed to get at WrestleMania 40, and they obviously pivoted. So I do think we're going to get this at WrestleMania 41 without a doubt. I think both guys are going to take time off. Between now and, in the summer, I think we're going to get the whole Bloodline saga, with Tama Tonga and Solo. I think they're going to do something like that. The Usos reuniting. That we did. But yeah, I definitely think this match is a main event type match, obviously. So I think this would be the night one main event. Next on my list, I have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's WWE Championship. This is... There we go. First one predicted correctly, Charlotte versus Tiffany for the WWE Women's Championship. So, a little pat on the back for myself for this one. I predicted that she was going to win Money in the Bank, Tiffany, and then be champion going into Mania. And then just looking at the field, who could be her best opponent. it was Charlotte Flair. Everyone wanted this match, right? This is a dream match. Obviously, the feud has been really stale, so it's kind of upsetting now. It's gotten a little better over the past couple weeks, I guess. But I guess that counts as our first one that we got correct. So there's that. Oops.
They're both very similar, right, in a sense. And Charlotte, kind of, on her way out. She's close to retiring. She's already done everything in WWE. 14-time champion. Tiffany Stratton, I think is like the next Charlotte Flair. And I think both great in the ring. Obviously, they could put on a banger of a match. I think Tiffany is going to walk in as champion at
Yeah.
WrestleMania 41. I think that she's going to cash in Money in the Bank. Yes, I think she's going to win
There you
Money in the
go.
Bank, and I think she's going to cash in on Bailey somewhere around Survivor
What
Series.
was wrong about that? It was not Jax. I said Bailey, but it's all right.
But yeah, I do think that this match, letting Tiffany win this match against Charlotte at WrestleMania would just build her to the moon and, set her up for a great career.
I do hope Tiffany retains at WrestleMania. If she loses, we riot. Okay.
Next on my list, I have Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Now, I think Liv.
So this is another one we were very close on. It's obviously going to be Bianca versus Rhea versus Io in a triple threat match, just like CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. That prediction ends up being a triple threat with Roman. Same thing here. Um, this is obviously a dream feud between Bianca and Rhea, and I do think the singles match between them is going to come sooner or later, maybe as soon as Backlash or SummerSlam. SummerSlam is 2 nights, so they're going to be doing a lot of big time matches. This could be one of them. Um, and as for who wins at this year's WrestleMania, I really don't know. I think Bianca's going to win. I think Bianca might turn heel too, but my prediction, I hope Io retains. Definitely don't see Rhea um, winning the title after she just lost it to Io a few weeks ago. So I don't know who I predicted to win this match in this video. We're about to see that though.
Morgan is going to be the winner of the World Championship come Monday Night Raw in whatever match they do to determine
That was the battle royal that they did that Becky Lynch won, by the way.
that winner. I think she's without a doubt going to win that match. And I think she's going to hold the title all the way until Rhea comes back. And then I think they're going to have Rhea Ripley beat Liv Morgan back for the title. And then I think we're going to get Rhea versus Bianca at Mania 41. And I really don't know who would win this match. This would be a great match, a match we haven't seen. So, it would be another unpredictable match. Bianca Belair, worthy of holding a title again. Rhea Ripley, who would, be fresh off getting the title back after, having to relinquish it. So I think that could go either way. It would be a great storyline, great match. Next on my list is a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. I have Sheamus versus Braun Breaker versus Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov. This match.
Yeah, all right. We were way off with this one. Braun Breaker is the Intercontinental Champion, so I guess I get some points with that. Sheamus isn't even going to be on WrestleMania, which is a crime. What are you doing, Triple H? Gunther is the World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know why I thought he was going to be in the IC title picture come this WrestleMania. So that was a stupid prediction. And then obviously Ilya Dragunov is out with the torn ACL. So had he not gotten hurt, he might have been in the IC title mix at WrestleMania. I'm not sure, but once again, I'll say it again. Sheamus should be on the WrestleMania card.
Match would just absolutely cook, without a doubt. All four of these guys have, absolute bangers of matches, night in, night out. So I think, this would be a phenomenal match. Sheamus is, who I think will walk in as IC champion. I think he's going to beat Chad Gable at SummerSlam. That's my prediction right now, because I think Chad Gable's going to beat Sami Zayn at Backlash. And then I think we're going to get a build with Braun Breaker being drafted on the main roster, Ilya Dragunov getting drafted on the main roster. And, you obviously have to have Gunther in a WrestleMania match. And I just think these four would absolutely put on a banger. And another match where, I could see Braun Breaker, getting his first championship in WWE.
Well, he's a two-time Intercontinental Champion going into WrestleMania. But on a side note, this match definitely would cook if it were to happen. Obviously, it's probably never going to happen, but
or Ilya Dragunov, maybe. I just think it would be a great match. Would love to see that. Next match I have on my list is a six-man ladder match for the United States Championship. LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet versus Sami Zayn versus Montez Ford versus Logan Paul. I mean,
all right. This one's tough. LA Knight is the United States champion, but let's go through all these guys. Logan Paul is in a singles feud with AJ Styles, and I'm pretty sure the next step for him is going to be the world title picture, whether people want to admit it or not. So I think he's done with the mid card. Sami Zayn's going to miss WrestleMania after that brutal match with Kevin Owens. He doesn't have a direction. Ricochet is not even in the company anymore, so there's that. Montez Ford is still in the tag division, a current tag team champion. And then Carmelo Hayes was robbed of WrestleMania. I thought he had a really good year. Are we just forgetting that Carmelo Hayes was the #1 draft pick to SmackDown? Like, they've done like nothing with him of importance. And I think he should be in the mid card scene, like the United States title picture at WrestleMania. I wanted a ladder match. Like, I wanted a ladder match last year when I made this video. I still want a ladder match. Obviously, the people in the match would be different. Like, I would do LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu versus Melo Hayes versus Andrade, Braun Strowman, like whoever. But it should be a ladder match because LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu just doesn't feel like a real storyline going into WrestleMania.
A bunch of high flyers, a bunch of great athletes, great competitors. This match would absolutely cook as well. I just think, at WrestleMania, the ladder match we had this year for the tag team titles, every ladder match we've gotten at WrestleMania.
Yeah, speaking of the tag team titles, the SmackDown ones, they've done such a good job booking them and keeping all the tag teams intertwined with each other. Why are we not doing a ladder match for the tag titles at WrestleMania? I have no idea. They're having the Profits defend the titles against Motor City Machine Guns on the SmackDown before Mania. Why are we doing that? Why are the War Raiders defending the titles against New Day at Mania? Like that, literally, no one cares about that feud at all. The Raw tag titles have literally been booked so horribly throughout the year. Like you almost like forget they exist at sometimes. Like I don't understand that booking decision at all.
WrestleMania in these past years, they're always amazing. I think we should always have a ladder match at WrestleMania.
We should.
No matter what title it's for, U.S., Intercontinental, Tag Team, whatever. I think we should always have a ladder match. And I just think that LA Knight, is going to walk in as champion. I think he's going to beat
There you go, bingo.
Logan Paul at SummerSlam. That's my prediction right now.
He did.
I think he's going to walk in as champion. But guys like Carmelo Hayes, Ricochet, Montez Ford are all capable of, winning that United States title. I would love to see a guy like Montez Ford win the U.S. title. I just think that'd be great.
That's probably not going to happen. I think a lot of people want to see him get a push as a single superstar. To be honest, I don't think he's getting out of the tag division anytime soon. So we might have to give up on that dream.
Sami Zayn in this match, kind of just to be there, fill that last spot. He's worthy of obviously being on WrestleMania, but I definitely don't think he needs this. Next match I have on my list is the Usos versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga for.
Yeah, no, this one's not happening. Those Raw tag titles are, like I said, the War Raiders versus the New Day. Jey Uso's in the world title match that he's probably going to win, and Jimmy Uso's going to miss WrestleMania. That's another guy I didn't mention for the U.S. mid card title match at WrestleMania. Like it should have been a ladder match, and Jimmy Uso should have been in it as well. As for Solo, he as of right now does not have a WrestleMania match, but obviously it's looking like it's going to be him versus Randy Orton, unfortunately. And Tama Tonga is also going to miss WrestleMania. I want to say if Tonga Loa never got injured, they might have had the ladder match for the tag titles with them in it as well, but maybe not. I don't know.
A tag team championship, whether it's the Raw or the SmackDown tag team championships. I think we're gonna get this bloodline story, coming soon. I think we're gonna get the Usos reuniting and Solo and Tonga, going at it with them at WrestleMania. I think that Survivor.
Also, I think this was made before Jacob Fatu debuted. So, because I know Solo and Tonga tag teaming is like really random. This is before Tonga Loa came in and Jacob Fatu. I just want to point that out.
Series we're gonna get the Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and The Rock versus Roman and the Usos, Bloodline Civil War Part 2. And then I think, it's all going to conclude at WrestleMania 41 with this match, and then Roman and Rock as well. And I think we're going to get the Usos winning this, and then Roman beating The Rock, as faces, and then, concluding the Bloodline story.
The Bloodline story will never end. Let's just get that out of the way. It's never concluding.
Next match I have on my list is DIY versus the Creed Brothers for one of the tag team championships. Once again,
nope. This one's not happening either. DIY should be, like I said, in that tag title match at Mania. Should be a ladder match. They should be in it. As for the Creed Brothers, they just should be televised more, like in matches. They have great matches together. But they just don't do that. Like they had a little mini feud with the War Raiders, but didn't really go anywhere. So this one's a rough prediction, but
whether it's the Raw or SmackDown tag titles, two teams that are so capable of putting on great matches together. We've already seen this in the past, and I think that I don't know who would walk in as tag champs, but I do think we're gonna get a Creed brother heel turn pretty soon, and I just think that this match would be awesome. A lot of good tag teams,
this match really would be great though.
On the roster, I should say. But these are my two favorite, to be honest. Next match I have on my list is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this match...
Oh my God. I don't know why this is actually the worst one. Oh my god. For those who don't know, I do not like Damian Priest at all. So I don't know why I had Damian Priest in the world title picture. I think this was after he won this was after WrestleMania 40. So why did I think he was going to carry the title all the way to Mania? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just recency bias. Him and Finn Balor obviously did have a mini feud when Finn turned. It was awful, terrible, and Finn should have won at least one of the matches. I don't know why I thought that was happening. This is wild. This is such a bad prediction. I don't know.
Match, I think it's gonna come eventually. If it's sooner than later, then whatever. But I think that they should save it for WrestleMania. And I say for the World Heavyweight Championship, in case Punk and Rollins isn't for the world title. And the way that I see this happening is, well, I think Drew McIntyre is gonna beat Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle
Didn't happen.
for the title. But then I think Priest is gonna get his rematch at Money in the Bank, win the title back, and then I think that same night at Money in the Bank, Finn Balor's gonna win the briefcase, and then we're gonna get a lot of teasers between Balor maybe cashing in on
There's so many wrong predictions within this. Like it's crazy. Finn Balor had Money in the Bank.
Priest, little heel turn, and then I think eventually down the line
He did turn
closer
face.
to WrestleMania, maybe like Royal Rumble, we're gonna get Finn Balor cashing in on Damian Priest, winning the world title, and then setting up their feud, giving us that WrestleMania match. And then I think Finn Balor would definitely go over at WrestleMania. I
You
think
would
he's
think.
just so overdue for a world title. Getting hurt in 2016 when he was the first winner of the Universal title. I just think he deserves this. Next on my list
What a bad prediction.
are three matches that, I just kind of want to put these people on the card. And the first match is Becky Lynch versus Jade Cargill. Like I said, I just think these two women are very worthy of being on a WrestleMania card.
Yeah, this is just a random one. I don't think I put too much thought into the rest of these matches. I think it was just for the sake of putting them on the card. I got one thing right. Jade Cargill is a singles superstar now at WrestleMania 41. She's gonna have a singles match against Naomi, so I got that right. But obviously Becky Lynch hasn't been seen in months. Ever since she dropped the world title to Liv Morgan, and as of recently, she said she's not returning anytime soon. So there's a
Very obviously, and I think that this would be a great opportunity for Becky to put over Jade Cargill to really build her up and make her worthy of a world title, put her in world title status. The second match I have on this is Bayley versus Liv Morgan. Another match,
yeah. I don't know why I thought there was going to be so many women's singles matches. That just does not happen at WrestleMania. They are in the same match though. They are fighting each other in a tag team match. So I guess give me some credit on this one. It's Liv and Raquel versus Bayley and Ladder for the tag titles. So you know what? Give me some 50% on this. I'll take it.
just kind of want to see these two women on the card. No title involved. Nothing really to it. Last match I have is Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre. Another match,
Yeah, another random one. Well, first of all, they're both heels, so it wasn't gonna happen. Kevin Owens sadly is gonna miss WrestleMania due to the neck injury. So unfortunate, but Drew McIntyre's involved with the Damian Priest storyline, and obviously that's gonna be a match on the card. So this was just way off. This had no chance of happening. Like I said, I think I was just like putting two people on the card that should be on the card, um, and that was that. But yeah.
well, these two need to be on the card, right? You can't have WrestleMania without these two guys in this day and age. And I think that this could be a great feud, even without a title. We saw LA Knight and AJ Styles have a really good feud without the title this year. This is, kind of my LA Knight versus AJ Styles WrestleMania 40 match. I think, Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, both great promo skills. They would have a great feud together. And, obviously we would have heel Drew McIntyre in this. And I just think, it's another match that would absolutely cook. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that was it. That was really bad, honestly. Um, yeah, my predictions were not too good. I can't wait to make this again after this year's Mania and see how bad they are next year. But um, I think we got one right. I think it was Tiffany versus Charlotte. That was the only one I predicted like 100% correct. Like obviously, like Seth and Punk, like they're in the same match, but it's triple threat. It's not a singles match. And then Rhea Bianca, same situation. But yeah, this was rough. But it's hard to really predict a WrestleMania match card 1 year out. Like you just don't know what way that Triple H is going to book. So it's really tough. But we got 100% right. I'll take it. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below of some of the predictions you guys had going into this year's WrestleMania. And which one of them came true, which one of them were way off. You obviously saw in this video that I had a ton of predictions that were way off. So there's that. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Peace.